Hi folks, it's a rainy day, so I'm doing routine maintenance on some of my equipment this afternoon. I'm going to show you how I replace the grease in my trimmer head. A lot of these companies want you to just add some grease every once in a while. And to me, that is absolutely no good. Because I feel you have to get the old grease out. If you see the difference between the old grease and the new grease and the color of it and the amount of metal dust that's in it, you should start replacing yours too instead of just adding to it. And the way I do it is a needle on my grease gun. And if you take your time, you can get that needle in through the gears down near the bottom, and that needle will go in a long way. And I simply flush out the old grease. And as you can see, that grease is gray with metal dust. And that metal dust may not hurt anything. It may be fine enough that it's not going to act like sandpaper in there. And I can tell by the way that's oozing out of there, the grease has lost an awful lot of its viscosity. Which definitely doesn't help either. And I've probably got maybe 20 hours on this grease. And you may see the new grease being mixed in as it flushes out. And this grease was blue. And you'll see some of the new coming out with the old now. And I'll just put 4 or 5 pumps in there. And I'll take that out. I'll reinsert the screw. Now you can imagine now what little good simply adding grease does to the inside of that head. And I'll spin that a few times. Best thing to do is to start it. You only have to pull that trigger for about 5 seconds when you start it. And it mixes the grease very quickly. But I'm just going to do it by hand here right now. Before I do it again, I'm going to zoom in on that grease. I don't know if you can see it or not. But look how gray that used grease is in there compared to the new blue. And that gray is metal dust. And again, that may be so fine that it may not hurt anything. But in this day and age, you and I spend way too much money on these things to not do it right. And grease is a lot less expensive than a trimmer head. Now a lot of blue's coming out. That mixed well just by spinning that by hand a few times. But I'll put 3 or 4 more pumps in. Oh, there's some gray coming. Usually I just do that twice. But because I've got the camera on, I'm going to try it a 3rd time. And all I'm using here is a number 2 general purpose grease, but it's a water resistant number 2 grease, which makes it a little bit thicker than your average number 2 grease. There's one pump. Yeah, there's a lot of blue there now, so I won't do any more. And there you go. I'm not going to bore you with any more, because you've all tightened up a bolt before and cleaned up grease off a workbench, I'm sure of it. There you have it. Do it the right way.